When it comes to discussing the realities of parenting, you can expect some sensitive material and occasional profanity.
Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to Anonymous Mom, a podcast where two childhood friends reconnect to discuss mom life, adulting, and everything in between.
This week, we are going to discuss something that is very relevant to me at this current date, and that's period problems.
And I just got done with mine, so I'm feeling great. Like
when you texted me that, I'm like, oh, how perfect that I have my period right now.
Yep. See, we're all like on the same cycle now. It's already happened that fast because, well,
even through Zoom,
exactly.
We don't even need to be seeing each other.
We're just connected like that.
Yes. Oh my Lord. And I mean, just to start it off, at a stage in my life where my hormones are all over the place. I told you about my migraines, which might be related to
hormones.
Yes, but it also might be other stuff. I kept a journal of them, and they've been happening at 11 noon when I should be eating lunch and like me putting off lunch. And I started working out again, and I'm doing a super intense cardio one. That could be a factor. So who knows? And also the amount of time I'm on a computer is also just uncool.
I don't have that problem. This is like me on the computer.
Yeah, well, I don't have that problem.
I don't have the stare at the computer problem. I just can't stay focused that long.
Well, my problem is too, because there's a meme about it too, where it's like, oh, got done with big screen, so now I look at the small screen and the tiny screen after I get, and that's what sucks about having a job where you are on the computer, because all you want to do is watch TV and go on your phone and like play some dumb game and zone out, in the dark because your kid's sleeping and wake them up.
Okay,
do you remember when you got your period?
Okay, so we actually were just discussing this because talking about kids getting periods and hormones, and all that. And I was one of the last one out of our friends to get my period. Like I got it. I think I got it in 8th grade. I was
I don't even remember that.
I was late, which totally upset because I wanted my period because everybody else had their periods, you know, and then I remember like getting it. And then I had such bad ones, terrible ones, cramping,
like vomiting.
Yes. Like so sick. And then that's why I got on the pill. And I'm like, because it's not like I was sexually active at that age. And that's a whole nother thing we could go down, being on the pill at the age of like
that's another
15.
episode.
That's another one. But yeah, I mean, I think I was on the pill at 15 to help with my periods. And I don't think I wore tampons right away. Did you wear tampons right away? I don't feel like I did. Oh
God, no.
I don't wear pads now, and I can't imagine wearing pads.
I wear it when I'm sleeping.
Do you? Maybe I should do that, because I always hate having a tampon in for too long.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so we got that dog. We got a puppy, and
so
we were
cute.
Like, he's so cute. I love him to death. And I wasn't sleeping because we were up in the middle of the night with him, and like I got my period and like so tired. I put 2 tampons in.
Shut up! How do you even do that?
I don't know. And like out of all the years I've had my period, obviously I'm 40. I've had my period for a while. I've never forgotten to take a tampon out and put a tampon in. And
it'd be funnier if you actually just put 2 in at the same time because it was that heavy, and you're like, fuck it.
If that was a problem, I'd probably look for, like, I'd be calling the doctor if I was that heavy. I didn't even know that I did it until I'm at work, and I'm like, God, I should probably change my tampon because I was kind of bleeding out. I go to pull it out, and I pull 2 out.
Luckily, the other one came out with it.
Yes, I know. So I pulled the string and I didn't know that I did it. Like, I didn't know I did it until I pulled it out, and like another one came out. And I'm at work. I'm pretty open about all that stuff, but I can't go into the salon and be like, oh my God, I just pulled it.
You guys,
you're never going to guess what happened.
Like have them in your hand.
Yeah. And I'm like, and then I like look, and I'm like, holy shit, there was 2. And I'm like, how you had one in probably for 8 hours while I slept, and then put another one in for probably 6 hours. So I had like that one in, like that was in there for a long time.
Oh my Lord.
And then last night, this is terrible. I can't believe this is all happening. So last night we went to a wine tasting.
Yeah.
By the time we were done with the wine tasting, I think we had a full glass of wine. Other years I've left the wine tasting and been puking because I've been so drunk. They like totally changed it up this year.
They remember you?
Yeah, not me, but so many people are like, God, I've left here way drunker than I am tonight. I'm like, yeah. So
who spits it out? Like,
right, exactly. So I get home and I'm like, oh, I should have to change tampon. I pull the tampon out. It starts to unravel as I'm pulling the tampon out. Legit.
I've never heard of that.
No. So then it's like, did you buy generic tampons? I'm like, I need a mirror. I need to make sure I got it all.
Did you buy? Your husband asked if you bought generic. I love it.
He goes, did you buy the generic tampons? And I was like, I did. He's
like, did you go to the Dollar Tree and get tampons?
Yes. No, I bought like the Walgreens generic.
Do they have tampons?
Yeah. Oh, they do. They do.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I'll get some and see if those are better. Yeah.
You're gonna explode in your vagina. Something.
So, and I've never had that happen. Like I'm pulling it out and it's like unraveling as I'm pulling it out. I'm like, oh my God.
I've never heard of that.
Never heard of it either. So then I'm like, I need to make sure all of it came out. And as he's like, yeah, did you buy the generic tampons? And I was like, they're the Walgreens brand of Kotex.
Yeah.
Yes, I bought the generic.
They shouldn't unravel.
They shouldn't unravel. This has never happened to me again.
You're just buying the brand when you buy Kotex and Always.
See, that could be another, like when I talked about like brand name, non-name brand.
Yeah, I mean, that's this whole other topic.
Yeah. But yeah,
that is one of my biggest fears.
Yeah.
Forgetting. I'll fish in there. So like I use these discs called, they're the company, I think it's called Flex, but they're disposable discs. So instead of a tampon, it's a little disc and then it has like this area where the blood goes, if you will. Right. But once you put it in there, it's in there and you could forget. And they last up to like 10 to 12 hours. I never go that long because I'm so paranoid.
Yeah.
I only keep them in for 6 to 8 max. But say like my period stops, because like that's another thing, getting older, I'll have an insane period and then it'll just disappear for a day and then go, oh, surprise, bitch, I'm back. And then like come back for a couple of days. So
it's time to party again.
Yeah, it's time to get bloated and want to eat everything again. So I am always so paranoid. Like, did I forget to take it out? I'll have this high anxiety run to the bathroom and make sure that it's out because I'm just.
No, I'm terrified. And like, then of course, then I get the mirror and I like look in and I'm like, oh, now I have to look at my vagina. Like, really? Like, this is not what I want to do. I want to go to bed. Okay. So those discs.
Yeah, if it's unraveling, that's creepy.
The unraveling was weird. Like I've never, and of course I'm like, oh my God, we're doing the podcast tomorrow about period problems.
I get like a douche and like flush it out or something.
I don't know. It was weird. Now
go in there and see.
Like, okay. So assignment for Friday night.
Have a fun date night for us.
He'd take one for the team. He'd do it. So
you just have a surgical like glove waiting. Like I want something fun for us to do.
Okay, so those discs.
Yes.
Have you ever heard, or I'm sure you have, but cups?
I use the cups first.
Okay.
So the cups are great. They're silicone. They last, I like, again, 10 to 12 hours. But if you're out and about.
Yeah. How do you like change it?
That's the thing. So when you're using a cup, you have to, your hands have to be clean.
Right.
You have to empty it. You have to wash it, and make sure you're washing it with a solution that's okay to be up your nether regions. And that is not something you can do in the Target bathroom.
And that's what I always think about. Like,
so they're great if you're not leaving home or if you're somewhere where you have a private bathroom and a sink and, the proper soap.
Right. And then you're supposed to boil them.
Oh God, I never boiled mine.
I heard you were supposed to boil them just to like sanitize them like every few months, probably, like just to like really get them clean. Yeah.
I should boil. Because I still have one, my first one. They are bigger. They have this like little dangly thing and you have to pull it out and like you have to first unsuction it and then pull it out.
I don't know.
You get used to it. Like anything new. It's like riding a bike. But the discs I recommend because those are disposable.
See, and that's what I've been watching. There's YouTube videos, like legit YouTube videos on this. I'm not even kidding you.
Showing women's vaginas.
Showing how they like, not like showing the vagina. It's like showing them like taking it out and putting it in. So it's not actually showing the vagina. It's like a woman sitting there doing it.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I was curious on the, those discs because I'm like, how does it work? You twist it and then it just like holds it in there.
Well, the ones I have is a circle and then you pinch it and you stick it up there and then you push it in and you just have to make sure it goes past where it needs to go and it just catches all of it. But then too, like when you pee, that pressure like releases. So like some comes out when you're peeing.
Yes.
But then it suctions
and then
right
like
back
when you're like going number two too, you're pushing.
Yeah.
And you probably have to take it out then too. Okay. And so other thing, not same subject, but different thing. So when I have my period, I have a good month and a bad month. Every other month is different. Yes. Like, this month I bled a lot more but I didn't
Mhm.
have like my hip pain or my back pain or the cramping. And then so next
Oh.
month I will have the cramping, the back pain, and all of that.
Is it like clockwork
It
every other?
is. It's every
Damn.
other. But I won't bleed as much. It's the weirdest thing. And like my periods have gotten better since I've had kids. Like after I had kids, they weren't as terrible as when I was younger. When I was
Mhm.
younger, they were so bad. Like I can't imagine having that all over again. But yeah, so mine are different. A, after I had kids, and then B, like every other month.
I should keep track of mine because there are months where my symptoms are brutal. And then there's some where, like you said, where the flow is worse.
Yes.
But my
And like,
symptoms aren't.
yes. And so that's what I've noticed. Like, okay, this month I'm bleeding more. So
Yeah.
next month I'm going to have the physical ailments of it. So it's so funny when I get my period, your boobs hurt and all that. But my husband's like, with this period, your butt came back. And I was like, well, I'll keep my butt. Like, I want my butt to stay. Like, I like having a booty. Like, I like was dying because it's funny, like how much your body changes when
Yeah.
you have your period.
There's this meme about, because you know those random boob pains, you ever get those?
Yes.
And it's like, you know, when you get that random boob pain, it's like, oh, what is it, girl? Is it gonna rain or is it gonna
Are you getting your period? Yeah.
what is it, girl? What are you trying to tell? But yeah, I get those all the time, and it's always just this high anxiety that I have. Oh my God, what is it? And then like quick, like feeling it. And my hormones, I can feel like it's during it, I can just feel way more exhausted.
Okay, so do you
headaches?
I get more anxiety when I have my period too. And this is something I actually discussed with my doctor. When I'm getting my period, I double my anxiety bed.
Oh.
Yep. Because my anxiety is so high and I don't know what it is. It's obviously like a hormonal thing, but it gets so bad. So like on Monday, I was like, God, I'm like really anxious, like couldn't figure out like why. And Mercury retrograde is going on too. So I am like, and everybody I've talked to is
retrogrades.
Like, yeah. What's that?
There's 6.
Yes. 6 planets. Yes. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, God, I'm having so much anxiety. And I was like, oh, duh, I've got my period. So like take another one. Obviously, I think it has to do something with the retrograde too, because the girlfriend that I was talking to this morning was like, I'm just calling because I'm having some anxiety. And I just need to talk. I'm like, girl, it's been this way all week for me. I get it. But so does your anxiety get worse when you have, or is there anything like mentally? I
just always have high anxiety. So
right. No, and so do I, but I just noticed it's so much worse when I have my period. Like I'm a highly anxious person, but I noticed I can't actually handle it. Like I'm pretty good at handling my anxiety now after all like the stuff that I've done. But
I bet it is hormonal.
Another girlfriend that you know, she has the same thing. When she has her period, she's like 10 times more anxious than
I need to start doing a journal.
Yeah, I just am really like, I try to be really aware of I think just because ever since I was young, I had such bad periods that I was like trying to be really aware of things that happened during my period.
Yes.
And having 2 girls now, I want to be really aware of.
Well, see, so that's the thing. Like when I got my period, it was I think it was right before 6th grade.
Oh my God, you got
like the summer of 6th grade. My grandma got hers at like 9 years old.
That's crazy.
I know.
So then do you go through menopause earlier?
My grandma was fully through, like done with menopause by 36 or 37.
See, and that's what I wonder. Like if you get your period early, do you go through menopause
do you get
early?
it? Yeah. I mean, there's always
like, is that the trade-off?
Maybe. Well, I guess, like, it's like, is it your flow plus what the age that you get it?
Yeah.
My mom started symptoms of it, like perimenopause at my age. And so that's why I think a lot of the stuff that I'm dealing with is the same thing. I sort of knew about a period, but not, everything. And I remember I went to the bathroom and my underwear was covered in blood. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm dying.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm bleeding out.
I'm bleeding. Yeah. I'm like, I'm dying. And so I remember my mom was the only one home at the time. So it must've been summer. And I just scooch with my underwear down to her bedroom. And she looks and she's like, you got your period. I'm like, I'm not dying.
Oh, you are gonna
you're gonna die eventually. Just not right now. This is just your period.
Yeah. This is just, I always tell my husband, I was like, I don't want to hear about you complain about like your ailments and stuff like that. I almost die once a month. I like bleed uncontrollably for a few days and I don't die. So we are the better version.
I should find this. They did a study, we only have a little bit of time, but only a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago, they did a study on men. They gave them these sensors that gave them like the pain of going through your period and going through childbirth and did it in a repetition and they couldn't handle it.
No, I tell all the time. We bleed uncontrollably. Well,
It's bullshit.
Well, my friend's brother said it. He goes, you can never trust a woman because they bleed for 5 to 7 days and don't die. Who does that? Who does that? Ever since then, I was like, badass bitches like me do that.
How about, don't fuck with us is what your takeaway should be.
So I don't want to hear you complain because we bleed uncontrollably and still live and still have to go to work, still have to raise kids. I don't want to hear about how you don't feel good. I'm not Carrie like that.
And if you don't, go to the doctor. Don't tell me.
Exactly.
God damn it. Well, it looks like we are running out of time. Do you want to say anything else about periods?
No, I think if anything, like share, if you want to share your period story
Yes.
or like any weird tampon stories, please share because I can't be the only one that has put 2 tampons in at a time. Or if anybody's had, do you buy the generic tampons?
I don't think you're definitely not the only one because I've heard that story before. So don't worry.
Okay.
I'm just glad you're not the story of the person who forgot to the point where they wind up in the hospital.
Oh, I had a friend, or not a woman that I knew, her niece
shock.
happened to. And she was in another country and she got toxic.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's the other thing. We didn't even get to this because, I mean, that can be its whole other topic, was the stuff that they put in tampons.
Oh, I know.
Like chloride. And when I found out all the stuff that is actually in it. Why?
Yeah. That's a whole nother
one.
Can
have that. Yeah, that can be a whole other topic. But yeah, that is all the time it looks like we have. So thank you for tuning in, everyone. And we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for tuning in to Anonymous Mom.
Check out video episodes over on YouTube.
Have a question you want answered or a topic you'd love for us to discuss?
Email us at anonymousmompod@gmail.com. Or if you want to remain anonymous, join our Facebook group, Anonymous Mom, where you can post your topic or question anonymously.
Thanks for listening.